Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to the stream. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. Hope the beginning of 2023 has been a wonderful year for everybody. So let's just jump straight into it. Last week we worked on making item pickups actually pick-upable, and we used prefabs to make them work a bit better and to be able to multiply them for as many items as we're going to need. Now, today what I want to work on is actually making those items work with the flow of time. For example, if we have a sapling in the past, it should be a tree in the future and a rotting stump in the far future. That's just how time works. That's how I want it to work in the game. So, let's get straight into the editor, and we'll look at the two items that we've made previously. Now, as I was starting up the stream, I was just downloading some test assets, some pictures, just to help us visualize this change. And I'm just doing the last one now. So I have in our sprites folder a few images. I just need to, yeah, they're all sprites. Wonderful. So, first of all, we need to make sure that, yes, we do have the appearances. I do remember that from before. So it should have at a maximum of 5 appearances. In fact, we should have them as 5 appearances for the 5 different time periods. Now, what we want to do is we also want to track the object's age. So what we're going to do is we're going to place down a few test markers just so that we know what time periods can qualify as which X values is what I mean to say. So, if we take our plant here really quick, we move it all the way over to the left. Let's say to the furthest left point that we can do. Let's see, right to about there. We can see that the X value is changing, and let's say that our furthest left X value is -11. Let's put in a few estimations in there just in case it somehow goes out of the bounds here, but isn't too far off to the left that it's over here. So -11 to let's see, over to here. Yeah, we'll go -11 to +11. I think that's a good indication of time. So, if we just go into the game really quick. In fact, I should center this a bit more to make it a clearer version of -11 to 11, just because that's a bit better in my head. Here we go. Okay. So if we just take this item real quick, travel forwards in time, close menu, and let's just leave that there for a second. If we go back to the scene, the farthest left is about 19 to 41, 42. Okay, I'm actually going to start writing these down. Far past, present, future, far future. Okay, so the present should be between -11 and 11. The future should be between, what did I say, 19 yeah, 19 and 42. Yeah, 42. And then if we go into, oops, let's bring the object back in. And then in the far future, we go from 49 to 72, just to be careful. Okay, and then if we go into the past, go back to our scene. So the furthest left would be about negative 40. Well, actually, if we do negative 42, and we're going to guess negative 19, because that's how math works. Yeah. Yes, okay. And then I'm going to assume the far past will be from negative 72 to negative 49. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Negative 49, and then negative 72. Okay. So now that I've got those in place, let's actually set these time periods to a more reasonable state. Yeah, because if we have our present at, let's say, 0 of that. That's right. Yeah. That's what I screwed up before. Is that the time periods themselves are empty objects. To there, I needed to move the empty objects themselves to, or well, that can work well for now. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to go into our scripts and into the actual item script. And yes. In the item script, we need to set these distances for the updates. So what's an easy way to do this? Is basically, because it needs to be based on age. So the way that I'm thinking about this is that we take the item and we duplicate it forwards in time, and then put the appearance on it after that. So, and actually, if we just go back to our code very quickly, we can actually test that real easily. So we have the plant here. And actually, if we just take our character, take it at this x coordinate and then forwards in time this coordinate, and then forwards again this coordinate. We can actually determine how far we're traveling on the x-axis. Actually, what am I doing? I'm already doing that with the character itself. So what I can do is I can simply take that code from our movement, or time travel rather, and then, yeah. So yeah, we're just moving it over 30. So, this object, we need to instantiate however many times in front. So, let's say, we'll need to do this. Let's use a for loop. Now, what a for loop does is that for every time that the statement inside the parentheses happens, it does whatever is below. So if I do for int I equals 0, I is less than or equal to 5, then I plus plus. So what this basically does is that on every iteration, it will take an integer I, which starts at 0, and then as long as I is less than or equal to 5, it will do whatever's in here, and then after this is finished, it will increase I. As soon as I exceeds 5, this will stop. So, we just need to instantiate an object. So we need need to instantiate this object with a different appearance. Or actually, we need to do this whenever we place it down, just to save on time. So that if it's held, and then when it's nothing, and then what it needs to do is it needs to, oops. Instantiate this game object at this dot transform dot position plus new vector 2 rather, at 30 0. Oh yes, I need to make it a vector 3 just for the position. There. Oh, because instantiate takes a... No, it should be a vector 3 position. Well, maybe if I just do new vector 3 transform... Well, then why isn't this working? Transform. But it's not. It should be taking a position, isn't it? Yeah, instantiate an object. Okay, and then we'll just take we'll just take a var temp object equals null. Our game object. Or not, and then do this. Yes. No. Does not exist. Of course it doesn't. How did I do this otherwise? So I know there was another way I did this in another project. Oh, maybe if I don't put it as a null temp object, that would help. Okay, so we instantiate the object at this point, and then temp object dot transform dot position equals new vector 3 temp object dot transform dot position dot x plus 30, and then or no, I can do this a lot easier if I just do plus equals new vector 3 30 0 0. Perfect. So now, whenever it's placed down, it should instantiate 5 objects within the code. And then we need to put those public game object list of future selves, and then future selves plus equals temp object. I'm just gonna do it. Oh, sorry, future selves dot add, right? No. Future selves I equals temp object. There we go. So now, whenever I increases, it creates a new temp object that puts it over 30 units into the future. Then it adds that object to the future selves list. So if we now go back into the editor, we can see that yes, we have our current appearance, we have our player, we have our future selves. So as soon as we start, because it should already be set. Yeah, if nothing else, we can pick it up and place it back down. So let's just test this, see how it works. Okay, so if we pick it up and we place it down, yes, we now have 1. Okay. So that's good at least. Is it? Okay, it's not exactly because I've set it to 0. Okay, I can fix that later. But why is it only doing 2? Index out of range, transform child out of bounds. think I see the problem. Okay, I think I can just get rid of that real quick. And try again. But does it add it to the future selves? No, it didn't because it stopped. Okay, let's try this again with that out of the way. Okay, pick it up, put it down. Index is outside the bounds of the array. What happened here? Try that really quick. Because as long as I can instantiate all 5 of them first, then we can manipulate them afterwards. Pick it up, put it down. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yep, this is exactly what I was afraid of. Each object is now running that same code and is making its own object. Okay. So, to counteract that, we need to public Boolean is original. Okay. And we need to set is now, because then it would just set to false. Unless we do it here. So is original equals true. And then temp object dot get component item dot is original equals false. Okay. So then if is original then do the rest. And then otherwise do nothing. Okay, so that should solve that problem. Hopefully. Okie dokie. So we pick it up and put it down. Okay. So this plant should be the original, which it is. This should not be the original. Why is that true? Plant clone. They're not setting it false. Oh. No, because then... Actually, no, yes, because... Okay, I have a way that we can solve this. Is that instead of doing it like this, then we can just check if... game object dot transform dot parent is null. then is original equals true. So yeah, only if it has no parent, which is what the instantiated ones do not do. Because the original plant should have just no parent whatsoever, because it's just out in the open. And then once we instantiate, those all are parented to the plant itself. Okay, good. Good. But they're still making their own clones. It's very strange. All the clones are right there. Well, this is odd. How else can we work around this? Because what I want to do is that when you pick up an item and you place it down, it instantly changes over time. So it has to be the same object with the same variables, or does it? Oop. Here we go. I don't want to be a programmer, coder, whatever in the future. This kind of amazes me, but we haven't met yet. I mean, yeah. I mean, hey, welcome to the stream. I mean, props on you for wanting to be a programmer. Yeah, honestly, this is probably the best way to find out how to be one. Learn through tribulations and trials of people. Learn from their mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. Like, good lord, this is a whole bunch of spaghetti code that will be fixed and touched up in the future, but is just it's everywhere, man. But yeah, again, props on you for wanting to be a programmer. Honestly, I'd say it's one of the best professions out there. You've got a great market in front of you. I mean, there's a whole decades worth of history of video games, and we're in pretty much the golden age about it. Yeah, feedback is amazing. That's honestly part of the reason why I wanted to make these streams. Was to just not procrastinate on anything and to get my stuff out there. And as I've said many times before, I want to get this game out at least in a demo form in the middle of the year, or even have a final finished product by the end of the year. And hey, man, why am I telling you this? I do games on Scratch. Dude, Scratch is where we all start out. Scratch is honestly one of, if not the best, starting places for a programmer. Scratch, for those who don't know, is a coding language that is similar to Unity, wherein you have your editor and your code, but instead of lines of code like this, they're mostly in blocks. That is much easier to understand, that is much easier to grasp, that, for example, after this many seconds, do this that's inside the block, and then after after they click this, do this action. It's honestly a great starting point for any programmer, and I would recommend it to anyone starting out on programming. And if you even have just an hour to waste, just look on Scratch, look at the most popular games out there. For such a simple editing base, people have made amazing things on Scratch, and I will from time to time find time to just see what the community has made. Do not sell yourself short for being on Scratch. It is a wonderful place to begin, and it should honestly be a place of pride for anything you make, whether it be a 1 second loop of an animation, or if you make the Magna Carta in I don't know, whatever you do on Scratch or any other coding website, just have fun with it. Like, as long as you're enjoying it and you're learning skills for the future, go for it. Like, again, I had my start out on Scratch, and I've built my way up to Visual Studio. So absolutely do not sell yourself short for being on Scratch. Just keep working at it. I would recommend some classes online, YouTube videos, whatever you want to get into. Just keep that passion with you, and I honestly think that you can make some pretty amazing things. Do you know? No, I've been under a rock for the past 10 years. Yes, I know what Undertale is. Undertale is a great example of how an indie game can gain such great popularity. Um, it was its history starts out as an indie project, as an indie mod for Earthbound, and it just exploded into such a diverse fan base now. And it's honestly amazing that even a single indie game could do that. And of course, it's something to strive for. But in today's market, I wouldn't say that that's my number one goal. As long uh, as long as you have that passion and you make something that you feel proud of, I'd say that you've succeeded as a programmer. Because I can't make a tech. Dude, I'm telling you, YouTube and GitHub and all those resources are going to be invaluable to you. Um, yeah, I can understand the not able to program something, but it's all a learning process. None of us, I didn't do this in a day. Like, I make this look easy just because I've worked for 2.5 years to get my degree, about 4 years before that perfecting my art, and you just have to be patient with yourself. Just learn from other people. What one thing that programmers may or may not tell you, depending on who they are, is steal from everybody. That we all do it. We all go to Google. We all look for, how do I do this thing? Don't be ashamed of it. If you need help, get the help you need. It's The internet is a wonderful place to get tutorials and to learn more about what you want to do. So I completely understand abandoning projects due to either lack of motivation or lack of skill, but keep working at it. You will get better. That's just how doing a hobby works. That's how doing any job works. You get better over time. So I would recommend maybe taking another week off, watching YouTube tutorials, uh, look at other Scratch projects, but then jump back into it, see what else you can do with it. I feel like that anything that you can make on Scratch, while it may seem simple and easy to other people, I would say is a feat in and of itself. So, long story short, if you want to take anything else from this and my bad ramblings, just do what you love. If you want to be a programmer, lean into that. If you want to program a game, just program the game. The best way to start is to just get started. This is called Windows 11 2.0. Make it better. Yeah, wonderful. Honestly, that is an ambitious project, and I commend you for even starting on it. But yeah, motivation weighs you down, man. Like, you can have one day where you're working for a straight 5 hours, fixing bugs, putting in features, and just doing everything. But then you just get hit with a sudden set of anxiety or depression or just other non-motivating factors, and you just feel like there's nothing else you can do with the project. Take it from a graduate student. Motivation is the number one resource that you can have. It is the one thing you can lose. It is the one thing that can help you grow, and it is the one precious thing that makes or breaks a project. And yeah, I'd be happy to try it sometime. I don't think I'll have time for it today, but if you want to send me a message either on Twitter or on YouTube, yeah, I'll definitely try it next week, and then we can see what other people are trying out. But yeah, again, to make a long story short, if you want to program, just program, and basic projects are fine. I mean, just the other day, I saw an itch.io project called Window Slide, where the concept was simple. You had a character, and he could resize the window, and by resizing the game window, change the way the game worked. And that in of itself is a simple project, a basic project, if you will, but the mind behind it made it an exciting, tiny little RPG. And it's incredible. The guy made another game called Hop Slide, where you're playing a game in two windows now, and you have to communicate between the two to actually play the full game. Again, a basic project, but can still open up a world of possibilities. So again, don't sell yourself short with a basic project. A basic project can be the gateway into the greatest indie game of our generation, So you can like or hate your work however you like, but just know that anything you make is something that you made. And if you're proud of that, perfect. Keep going with it. Make something else. Make something new. Go with your gut. If you feel like you can create a good game, you can put it out into the world, and it will make you proud. Go for it. I couldn't stress this enough, that if you want to do something and you have the motivation to do it, go for it. That's part of the reason why I started this stream, is that I just had no motivation for making anything. I'm sitting on a backlog of 3 or 4 games that I haven't gotten to work on, purely because of motivation stopping me in my tracks. And who knows, maybe this game will be my big break into the indie game world. But if nothing else, this will just be a fun time with me and with you guys to just code a game. And if that's all it ever becomes, if it gets 0 downloads and 0 videos on YouTube, but we had the time together here, I mean, I'm happy with that. When I got time, I searched tutorials. Yeah, absolutely. Remixing projects on Scratch. I mean, yeah, it can be easy. You can just change a line of code, make it your own, and then you upload it yourself. That's fine. But then if you want to get into the nitty gritty and actually make stuff yourself, that's a big step towards your programming career. And again, do not sell yourself short from where you start from. I started from scratch. I started from video tutorials, and there's absolutely no shame in that. I would absolutely say, keep doing what you're doing, and just keep trying, honestly. Um, to keep another long story short, just motivation is hard, and just keep doing what you're doing. And if you're proud of what you make, wonderful. So thank you for joining the stream. I absolutely appreciate talking to people and just having these little breaks, especially when I'm trying to figure out a problem. Just because talking with other people could help me solve that problem and give me new ideas of how to do things. So let's see. We want to instantiate an object 5 times over to the right. So, what if we just make a copy, move it over What if we just make a copy and then have the copies do that, and then check the list itself, and if there are more than 5 objects, just stop replicating. Yeah, I think that might work. So, if we just get rid of this really quick. And then we just make the temp object. Adding to future selves. In fact, what if we make this a list instead? List of game objects called future selves. And just get rid of this. And future selves dot add. There we go. Temp object. Okay. If future selves dot count is greater than 5. Actually, no, if it's less than 5. There we go. So now what should happen is now we should be able to thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Okay, so once we pick it up and put it back down, it should create multiples of itself, and then each of those multiples creates one of itself. Then it should stop when it's at future selves 0. Oh. Okay. Did I just need a list this whole time? If I just needed a list this whole time, that... So then what I could do is just whenever it's down, could do that. Would that work? That won't work, will it? Surely not. Oh, yep, it is lagging pretty hard. Yep, I know exactly what that is. Yep. It's repeating over and over again. Yep. I gotta stop it. Stop it. Yeah, I think it might crash. It's absolutely gonna crash. Yep. There's a crash. Oh boy. Come on. Let me end. Okay. Um so that right there was a good old infinite loop. Unity does not like infinite loops. Infinite loops actually make it break just a bit. So give me a second to open the project back up, and we will get rid of this for now. Okay. Huh. Well, that was a good example of what not to do in Unity. Okay, so yes, we're back. Oh boy. All right. So let's head back into the code. Let's try and salvage this. I just want to test something real quickly. Can I do just two objects here? Oops. And then will that be okay? Okay. So once I pick it up, put it down, plant. Plant has 2, then none, then 1, then none. That is very strange. It's like this creates 2 clones, but then only that second clone makes a clone. Why does that happen? Clone there, clone there. Because it makes 2 clones at the same spot. Of course it makes 2 clones at the same spot, because it's only adding 30 each time. But then why is only one of them doing it again? And why are they rising as well? That's not supposed to happen. There's no way that's at 105. It's at 105 to the... Oh. Okay. So that's something we can fix later. Huh. Okay, so why is it only firing at the second one? That's what's tripping me up. I mean, I could hard code it just to make all 5 objects. But that seems a bit... I may do it for now just to get it set in my head, and then we can fix it later. Let me just do this. 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. Oops. Need that to be 4. This to be 3. This to be 4, 4, and 4. That should be 30. That should be 60. And then 90. And then 180. No, 120. That's how math works. So what it should do is that it should... let's just see if looping is going to happen. Looping's absolutely going to happen, but why not? Let's just figure that out when we get to it. So we pick it up, we put it down, and that's what I thought. That is very strange. Okay, so the original itself has 4 clones. Okay, that's what I wanted. Because then if we put this all the way over here, the 4th one is all the way in there. Okay. I suppose I could hard code it so that if any children have children, just delete the children. Because I think that should work just as well. Again, I don't like to hard code. I like to make things simple right off the bat. But sometimes it's best to hard code so that you can simplify it later. So, yeah. And the list is fine, so as long as we just get rid of the children. Now, don't take that out of context. We're taking the children out of the children that shouldn't... I'm going to stop talking now and just do it, because otherwise I'm going to end up in prison. So, for each game object child in transform dot get children how do I find all objects, all children of a get all children game objects. Reach transform and transform all children. Just not unique. Transform items and transform. Okay, that could work, I suppose. So in children, it's transform.child count, and for each child, and yeah. Equals transform.child count. For int I is less than child. Here, that should be children. I equals 0. Children. Yes. Or no, I, rather. Dot count is greater than 1. We need another 4 each. Game object child in because then we need to do this again. Hard coding is fun. This is wonderful. Would that work for each transform child in destroy child? Okay, so for every Okay. Okay, so for each child in Transform, if that child has children, then destroy those children. Okay, so while it sounds like a felony, let's see if it actually works. We pick it up and we put it down. Nope, cannot destroy transform component of the game. Oh, because I gotta destroy the children.game object. That is stupid, and I hate Unity for it. Never mind, I really like Unity, and that's just semantics on my part. Okay, pick it up, put it down. Okay, got all but one. Why? Why did it get all but one? So yeah, if we just do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, initial one. Pick it up, put it down. Yeah, why does that happen? Because it's not more than. If it's greater than or equal to 1. There we go. Now it should function properly. Mathematics is fun. Okay. Pick it up, put it down. Wunderbar. Now we have only 5 instances. The original 1 and then 4 for each of the time periods. Oh, that's beautiful, and can't believe took me our entire time today to figure that out. But that's just how it works sometimes in coding. Okay. So we've hard-coded it, which is awful practice, but we've done it, so... in fact, if I just cut this out and then revert back everything, let's go back to our original thing. I just need to change that back. You know what? No, I'm not even gonna risk it. I'm just gonna go back to our hard coding of what we had before and just worry about that next time. Okay. Well, like I said, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you for everyone stopping by. Thank you very much, Sansi30, for the wonderful conversation we had, and everyone who followed. Thank you for everyone checking out the YouTube video that I'm possibly making after this. Thank you to just everyone involved in making this one of the best days of my week. I hope to see all of you next week. And next week we're going to work on simplifying that code there and actually getting to the appearances and making those function better. So, again, thank you all for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.